Glad to see you're ready to go, Link.
Fuck you. I don't want to go. I'm just kidding. Look at that smile.
Are you ready for this? Do you have your Zora armor and enough shock arrows? I'm ready. Wunderval. You never cease to amaze me, Link. Now then, let us go appease this divine beast as one. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Jay the Zoom.
And I'm Sidon Fan 69.
And welcome back to Breath of the Wild. Today, welcome to your first big boy episode, as I like to call them. We're doing the Divine Beast VAH RUTA.
The easiest of the bunch.
So that's going to be exciting.
For sure.
Yep. One of the more fun, too. One of the ones I really enjoy. Now, I'm kind of, at least in this friend group, I'm not sure how it is in the general opinion overall, but I'm kind of an outlier in this friend group. Because I adore these things.
Well,
and everyone I talk to thinks they're bad.
To be fair, number one, just saying straight up, a lot of the dungeons is what keeps me away from a lot of Zeldas, because I very much like the exploration and the combat. As soon as you try to get me to like explore labyrinths and puzzles, by the way, this is dope. I'm not going to be able to like comment on it, but I love this shit.
Oh, I love this
for every Divine Beast. It's almost a little bit like SA2, where you're like trying to get to the boss first before you actually hurt him type shit.
It's so fucking like,
this had live and learn blasting
too.
On it. We'd be places, right? Anyway, yeah, I'm not like a big fan of dungeons in any of the Zeldas. I like Breath of the Wild specifically because the fact that you don't have to do these, right? Also, number two, you like them now technically, but I remember a time when you were first talking about this game that the Divine Beast was actually a weaker part for you, because you had come from a Twilight Princess Ocarina world.
That's fair.
And you said you liked the more involved dungeons at first.
I will still say that I still would love a Breath of the Wild game with typical Zelda dungeons. That would be my beauty. That being said, like you said, at first, my opinions greatly changed on these motherfuckers after I played the game again. I love them so much. I think like once I realized that they weren't your traditional Zelda dungeon, something kind of clicked for me, and I realized that this is actually a really, really fun gameplay mechanic. And it was just kind of like, because I was worried, like, if we have shrines, what's the point of doing dungeons, right? Because they're basically there instead. But they managed to do it to where it's not like a long-ass shrine. It's a completely different thing entirely to me. And I really appreciated that. And rather than being sprawling hour-long labyrinth, they're like all in one place solving these puzzles with some enemies. And I don't know, they're fun. I really, really like them, and I think from a game design standpoint, they're super unique.
I think I'll definitely have to like see where I feel at the end of it, because this is the only one I've ever really done and had experience with. But even then, I don't remember a whole lot about how this thing operates. So I'll have to wait and see. I will say what I can say right off the bat. I do like the fact that the dungeons themselves are, in a sense, kind of creatures. Obviously, the Divine Beasts aren't alive, but they do act very much like how the animals would. So the fact that dungeons move around, the fact that they have to be approached like this, the fact that all of them pretty much involve using their body parts and their anatomy in unique ways, I think is a dope concept for sure. There are parts of the system I dislike, though. And we'll get into it once we like actually start it, but like I definitely think the concept of like roaming beast-like dungeons is a good concept, and I'd love to see it expounded upon.
I agree. I would like my beauty for Breath of the Wild too is we keep talking about this, but it's such an interesting concept for them to do a sequel. But I would love to see like a mixture of Divine Beasts and typical dungeons. I feel like they could do that. I feel like it wouldn't be too difficult. Because, like, at this point, what narrative reason are you going to have for more Divine Beast-like dungeons, right? You've done all of those. So from a narrative standpoint, if this is a direct sequel, you're not really going to have one. So I'll be interested to see what they do for dungeons. But I would love a mixture.
What I'd love a lot, just to really, like, bring home this kind of, like, living nature of them, is if in the sequel, you had to find them. Similar to kind of a Shadow of the Colossus style, where they're not in predetermined spots and you always know where they're at. I would love one of them to be just not on the map, not visible, and I'd love for you to like use the mechanics of Breath of the Wild, climbing, swimming, paragliding, climbing, and like going out of your way to find one of these motherfuckers. Like I'd like one of them to be at the bottom of a catacomb, so that way you still get the typical Zelda type dungeon stuff through that, but you're actively like finding the divine beast and trying to like search it out and really like play into that exploration element.
That'd be really dope.
Because here it's just like, yeah, you gotta find them, and you don't know what they are at first. But once you've done one of them, and you know that the other three aren't going anywhere, it kind of takes a little bit of that magic out of it when you realize, oh, they're just gonna be here the entire game.
That's fair, yeah. The more you say that now, like, I'd love, like, roaming versions of
Absolutely.
them. That would be really, really cool. If there was, like, just these divine beasts, and you have to climb up them and go into them. Because, like, you're kind of doing that now, right?
Yeah.
You're, like, seizing the divine beast. But, like you said, they're always in one spot. So having them around the map would be cool. And then doing traditional Zelda dungeons around them, like you said, would be
Or even a thing like these divine beasts are like kind of described with their Calamity Ganon versions as being like world-ending creatures that have a lot of power. And we were really told about that power. Like we're told that if this motherfucker keeps doing what he's doing, the whole world of Hyrule gonna be flooded. And that's cool and all, but that didn't really affect like you, the player. I would love for just like you to be exploring in the world, and this motherfucker comes up and he just casts rain where you're at. You know how annoying that would be?
Yeah.
You know how like, fuck, I hate this thing. He ruined my exploring. He ruined everything. He put water all over the place. Now you'd be like, oh shit, I gotta stop these guys. They're being a hassle. I'd love for them to like actively impede on you, the player, and not just the creatures of the game.
That'd be really cool.
But obviously that's a huge technical thing, right? Like you can't have these motherfuckers be popping in like a Hinox or something, and they just step on you and you die.
One thing I really like in that regard is that's kind of. Have you seen the Desert Divine Beast? How that functions?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Because it's kind of the same way. If you're just vibing in the world, if you turn the wrong way, you will just be destroyed by that thing. It'll stomp on you or electrocute you to death. So that's kind of like they kind of already tried to do that, right? And when you take that down, you have to take it down from its legs and then climb up it to get into the divine
I think
beast.
that's cool. I'll probably like that a lot.
But yeah, there we go. That's the setup mission. The final setup mission for the first Divine Beast. Really fun one. I had a couple goofs and gaffs, but nothing awful. So I really like that one. It's not my favorite. My favorite is the Rito one, which is going to be really fun to do.
I like this one a lot. I think half of it just has to do with the characters. I really like Sidon. I really like Muzu. I like the connection to Mipha throughout the game. And I think from a gameplay area, like finding the Zora domain by following Sidon, the Lionel quest, this cool epic like confrontation is great. I'm gonna miss a lot of these guys because unfortunately they're not really like a big part of the rest of the game.
Yeah, you kind of just fuck off and you don't really talk to them.
But no, I love the plot, the setup, all of that's great.
I agree. It's really fun to do that.
Now we get into the dungeony side of things, which is a whole another talking point.
Oh baby.
Look at this goofy ass motherfucker.
I think I just love how gargantuan they are.
Yeah,
too.
the size really does play a big part.
Travel gate registered to mass. All right, now we can warp here. So in case you didn't want to do it, you can leave.
Like, nah, I'm good. I came all this way, but I don't really want to do it. No shit.
All right, Mipha's talking to us
Okay.
now. I do kind of also like the idea of like Ganon corrupting these magnificent contraptions, and they do come together very well at the end of the game, where they're all like siphoning off Ganon's power and destroying the castle. So that's dope.
Oh yeah, they're really cool narratively. Also like the idea that like all these champions have died and kind of like reside here as their graveyard type of shit.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's really dark for a Zelda game. I wasn't expecting that. But these people just die in this game. Mipha's dead.
And she don't come back at the end.
That's just wild.
Spoiler, she ain't coming back.
And it's just wild. Like, that's the same thing with a lot of characters in this game, though. They're just dead. Hyrule's been destroyed. That's one thing that that's another, like, minor criticism for this game for me, is I would love an open world game. Open world Zelda game that's populous.
Right.
With, like, multiple towns and settings. That would be just really dope.
The framework's there. And that could be the direction they go in the sequel, but judging by the type of trailer we got, might be more fucked up. I don't know. Oh shit.
Yeah. I'm looking forward though. So this is I believe now we have the map unlocked.
Okay, King.
So that'll be pretty freaking epic. Uh-oh, elephant boy.
Look at this shit. How is anyone supposed to be able to read this map?
Bruh, I went into this game not knowing at all what divine beasts were. And so, like, when I saw this map, I was like, what the fuck am I looking at?
What's this shit mean?
Oh. Might be.
I got you. Look at this ice block. We're good to go.
Oh. The fuck?
You're supposed to go out of it and then break the ice block. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Pretty simple concept, but we're only in a divine beast. You'll figure it out.
Alright, so this is either going to go one or two ways, beautiful audience. I'm either going to destroy this and be good and we'll finish it on time, or we're going to spend
an hour.
5 hours. Granted, this is only going to be one episode. We're not doing multiple divine beast episodes.
Oh, absolutely not. That'd be a mistake.
But whether or not this is a quick, clean slate and you see the entire hour, or if you just end up seeing an hour of 5 hours, is completely up to how I play it. So there's our first terminal.
Epic.
If you have no idea how these
what the
fuck?
Okay.
If you have no idea how these dungeons work, there's like
you can't climb that.
terminals that you have to like. Yeah,
there you
it's
go.
bizarre. There's terminals that you have to do. There's the big boss room. We're gonna eat.
Yum yum.
Let's go. So, again, these are really fun to me. I have a great time playing these.
Kind of explain the concept, I guess, just for anybody who hasn't done these before.
So, like I said, there's 5 terminals. And not only are there 5 terminals, but if you look at the map, you can control the divine beasts. Some of them have a bit more control to them. This one, you can control the trunk of the elephant. So essentially, once you do that, if you look, the elephant will move his trunk up. And it'll...
What are you doing here? You're interrupting our explanation, Mr. Guardian. Can't be doing that.
Well, alright, there we go. If you notice, now the trunk's been moved up. So now you can get to the terminal in the trunk far easier when the time comes to do that. We're going to go ahead and move it all the way back down for now. So a lot of the whole thing about these dungeons is the moving of stuff. And it's really fun, in my opinion. One of my favorite parts about it.
Right, like moving the trunk pretty much changes how the whole dungeon pretty interacts with itself. Because you would think like, oh, it's just an elephant. All I gotta do is traverse the elephant. Can't be that hard, right? Like go to the head, right? It can't be that hard at all. But like the almost like interactivity it gets you, where it's like the dungeon isn't just a laid out thing that you have to do. Now you have to actively work with said dungeon and said layout to get what you want. Almost kind of feels like one of those sliding door puzzle type of shit, where like you're given the puzzle but you have to work with it in order to figure it out.
And that's like what I was saying, where I was like, I'm really happy that it's not just a basic shrine with multiple rooms. It's actually, they have very different puzzles from shrines.
I think so.
IMO. They never feel like, yeah, this is just something you could do in a shrine. Shrines instead feel like something that, like puzzles that you would usually find in a Zelda dungeon to me. Meanwhile, this is completely out of nowhere. Fucking sir.
Hey, what are you doing? It's me, big floating head. What's up? Oh,
I don't want to hear about Geico.
Hey, you want to get car insurance, man? I can help you with that. I know I kind of look evil and all, but trust me, car insurance is great.
Del Lobo. All right, he dead. Now they'll die.
Thankfully.
Bye, 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 bye. There you go. See you later.
You can actually fall off this motherfucker too, and have to climb all the way back up.
Yep.
I've done that before.
It's a little unepic.
That was quite the oopsie moment for sure.
See, here we go. This is what Aiden was talking about. You go over here, and you move the homie's trunk up, and water will start flowing in from the trunk and move this little homie area along. And it'll be kind of epic once it makes its way over here. Oh, there we go. That's what we're talking about,
And
right?
this has always kind of been like a Zelda dungeon thing that usually trips me up of the fact of like, that there's a certain order of ways of doing things, and half of figuring out the dungeon is not only traversal, but also figuring out what order you need to activate certain things. And certain dungeons have had a bit of an interactive element, like a lot of the water ones depend on like controlling certain knobs and levers and water levels to try to get to where you need to go.
I fucked up.
But there are several of them in a lot of other games that I've noticed that are just very much like, okay, here's the layout, and there's really only one way to do this, and you can't really control much, so have fun. A lot of 2D Zelda is like that. Or like 2D.
There's a reason why, like, my favorite dungeons in 3D Zelda are, I have two. The Lakebed Temple in Twilight Princess and the Water Temple in Ocarina. Those are my two favorite Zelda 3D dungeons. And it makes sense when you, like, point it out like that they have the most control to them. And they have the most, like, I guess, like, intuitive game design. To where it's, like, more fun to play those than, say, like, the Forest Temple where it's go this way.
And those definitely still have a lot of, like, experimentation, but not really in a sense that you can control it, you know? It's a lot of experimenting of, like, all right, what did Miyamoto actually intend me to do here? And figuring out, like, how they thought.
Granted, those have their fun moments, too.
Oh, sure,
entirely.
yeah.
Like, there's a dungeon, like, Goron Mines in Twilight Princess is one of my, like, favorite. Oh, fuck, I forgot
They
about
really
that
put
shit.
spikes down there?
Yeah, so you wouldn't Mobamba like I'm trying to do.
That's hilarious. A lot of why I don't like dungeons in any Zelda just simply has to do with, like, for me, they're kind of a pace breaker.
That's fair. That's entirely
For me,
fair.
I love the combat. I love exploring around. I love seeing new areas. Sometimes the plots are even engaging, but we've already kind of touched that, like, that's not the main reason you play these games. And then, like, I'm cruising, I'm having fun, I'm going good, and then I get to the first dungeon and it's immediately a roadblock, and it immediately, like, stops me from exploring and having fun with the game again. And then it takes, like, in my case, because I'm, I don't know, dumb and inept, I don't know, like, several hours to figure it out. That takes away time that I really like from a lot of Zelda games, of, like, actually exploring and having fun.
I definitely get that. They're not for everyone, and if you don't like them, you're not going to really enjoy Zelda games, because a lot of them, excluding this one, you know, don't have the whole you can do it in whatever order you want. So if you don't do a Zelda dungeon in, like, Twilight Princess, you just don't play Twilight Princess.
Right. They're not optional.
And that's one thing I actually like about this game, because it allows people like you who don't like the dungeons to still, like, have a good time playing the game. So it opens up the game to a lot more of a player base too, I feel, that usually probably wouldn't play Zelda games.
But the dungeons are still there if you want to do them. We're still on track to not taking 4 hours.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. You know, I think I want to make the water go boop boop.
Yes.
But I don't know. Yep, I do want to make the water go.
Yes,
boop, boop.
queen.
I want to make the water go over here. Case in points, I haven't done the Divine Beast in forever. Usually when I pick this game back up, it's not, hey, let me do a dungeon.
More like, let me fuck around
It's
for
like-
a lot.
Yeah. This game isn't really I don't really get the craving to do dungeons in this game.
To me,
Unless I'm doing like a Let's Play or just a standard
Right.
playthrough.
to me, I'd almost put it in the camp of, like, Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead, where, like, yeah, there's a way you can play the game where you just go from mission to mission if you want. But, like, the Aden version of playing GTA 5 or Red Dead or any open world game is let's fuck around with a lot of people. Let's goof off for an hour. Let's explore. Let's find weird shit. And then maybe we'll do a mission. Maybe.
That's what most of mine are like. Most of mine, unless it's like Red Dead recently was kind of an exception because I got really into that story. Sure. So I had more like incentive to do the missions. But most online games, like I don't play the story of GTA 5. I've simply not done that. In that game, I just fuck around. So, it all comes down to if I'm invested in the story, and you know, if I am, then I'll probably do a bit more, and if I'm not, then you know,
I'll still spend hundreds of hours fucking around.
Yeah,
it's just not doing.
I just won't be fucking around in your
just
story.
Not to do what the game wants you to do, and I think that's like where a lot of open world games kind of fall into that trap. Is like, you build a huge world with a lot of physics and a lot of toys and a lot of tools at your disposal, but at the same time, you also have the game being like, okay, well now you have to do the game part. And it's like, I don't know. How do you really like do things like tell a cohesive story, build single player linear content, force players to go in directions when the fucking around and all the tools that you built, really good tools, are so good that it kind of detracts from the rest of the experience if you try to avoid it.
I've said this before, and I'll probably talk about it a bit more because it's the subject of a video I have coming out on my channel, but like, before playing Red Dead, I thought that like, stories are the antithesis of open world games. Like, inherently, if your game is open world and you put a story in it, you are actively working against yourself. And I still think that for most open world games. I think most open world games, if you were trying to tell a compelling story, open world is not the way to go. Because too many open world games give you this sprawling open world, but instead of like letting you do whatever you want to do in it, you're still gated by progression and doing missions and whatever. So I still stand by that. However, playing a game like Red Dead really showed me that you can still tell a compelling story and compelling narrative, even if you want to have an open world. But I do still feel like that's one of the reasons this game works, is because it's not grounding you to a specific story.
Right.
This game is very much saying, make your own story, and you can do that in whatever. Where are you still coming from? Oh, fuck me.
Yikes. Yikes.
Okay, good, there's a ramp. Whew, I was getting worried about
No,
that.
but I get you. Absolutely. I think the way you get around it is like, you're never really going to match up fun gameplay like that in single player missions, but you can make it so that by doing those kind of somewhat tedious, not very rewarding missions, that there's a damn good cutscene and a damn good character interaction at the end of it, almost making sure that the story has just as much time and development as the fancy open world itself.
That's what I've said to in my and when I was talking about Red Dead to some people who haven't played it, like Zach, I mentioned like, this is a game where it kind of requires you to enjoy the story, because otherwise, aside from a brilliant open world, the missions are nothing special. So like, if you're not enjoying the story, then you're just not going to enjoy the game. But Red Dead really gets you handled with the damn good cutscenes and damn good character interactions, which I really enjoy.
Or either do that or do like the Breath of the Wild approach, where the story is 100% optional.
It's all optional.
And if you are the
And you can still beat the game.
You can beat the game, right? But like, if you want that story stuff, they kind of take more of a like, all right, go look up lore, go look up the cutscenes, go find the memories, like that sort of shit. And I think that approach works as well. It's a lot easier for sure.
I also have to say that's something, going back to like the way Breath of the Wild handles it. It's one thing I really like about the game.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of open world games, sure, you never have to do anything. That's the beauty of open world. But like, Breath of the Wild goes one step further. You never have to do anything, and you can still beat the game.
Yep.
You can still beat Ganon. That's the coolest part about it to me. Because again, a lot of the issues like, okay, I've spent 100 hours fucking around in Red Dead, but I haven't beaten Red Dead. So it's kind of like, well, what do I do at that point? But in this game, you could say I spent 100 hours fucking around, and I beat Ganon. I still beat the game, but I did no dungeon and watched no story.
And you know why I think that works, and like the kind of unsung hero that like really pulls that all together? It's the runes. Having 4 or 5 like game-changing items that you get at the start of the game that also, by the way, turns out are so versatile and so well designed that they can solve every puzzle, every castle, every shrine, every tower, every combat encounter. You can do everything with the runes. So at no point is there like an area blocked off because you don't have the fucking item from the stupid dungeon. The only thing blocking you off in Breath of the Wild is literally like your skill level and whether or not you want to like be risky, right? Like, you know, you can go into hard areas with garbage fucking gear and trying to like, you know, do later areas of the game if you want to. But you're never going to get stuck because the 5 tools that they give you at the start of the game and that they teach really well in that tutorial turns out are used for everything. And that's so hard to do because like, how do you make all 5 of them entertaining? How do you make sure that they're not broken, right? And don't break the whole game or make it too easy? Like there's so many points where it could have gone wrong. Magnesis, Cryonis, the bombs, and Stasis really do pull that whole game together. And at no point do they block off your progression, which is so fantastic for an item of all things to do.
I agree. Now, granted, the open-ended nature of this game does have some caveats. Mostly that the Divine Beast bosses, since you can do them in whatever order, there's never really a challenge for any of them once you beat a couple of them. And that's something that I've complained about too, because sure, they're still decently difficult bosses. None of them are super simple and easy. But you can't, because in other Zelda games, you know, they grow, the bosses improve and get harder as you play the game, because, you know, you're progressing through the story. That's just not the case in this game, because they can't do that, because they can't predict which one you're going to go for first. And if they were to make one of them harder than the other, that's unfair to people who decide, oh, fuck me.
Oopsie. At least you can teleport, though.
Yeah.
I know, it's just going to bring you back up there, I bet, if it killed you.
Oh, fuck. Okay,
yeah,
that's good.
That's way better. Because you're only at 35 minutes right now, which is not the longest
we're going pretty,
we've recorded one of these.
We're going way faster than I anticipated.
It'll just be, how many tries does this take? And how long the boss take?
Yep, and both of those could probably push us over the hour. Hopefully this won't, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
The power of editing might have to come in handy. Alright, wait for it. Can you climb it?
There we go.
You just had to wait.
Final fucking wait. Yeah, I was jumping the gun.
There you go.
Oh,
Hype.
Lord. There we go. We're done with the Divine Beast.
Hype.
You activated all the terminals. Now you can start the
Keep in mind,
control unit.
first 10 minutes of this episode was pretty much the setup. Still.
Because you were doing the surfing arrow shit.
Mm.
Be careful not to let your guard
Be careful.
So this only took me roughly like 25 minutes. That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. This could, again, have taken way the fuck longer. But I think even on a good day, these are shorter still than most dungeons are.
Especially
this one. Later ones
This one's a pretty cool
we'll have to
one.
wait and see.
And like, they kind of make it so like this one's easier because they point you in this direction. And so yeah, the later ones are definitely more involved, but they never really get harder inherently.
Boop.
The closest they get is the camel one, is pretty puzzle involved, but even that's still similar puzzles. Oh hell yeah.
Money.
All right, baby.
Boss time.
Boss time.
Bruh.
Let me make sure I got enough arrows, because this boss is a pain in the ass without them. What weapons do I have?
Pretty much
All right,
my everything.
We're gonna do this, dude. We're gonna do this,
I'm
king.
hype.
King shit.
And only 10 episodes. We are now at Water Blight Ganon. I'm so proud of us.
Same.
We're gonna beat him too.
Absolutely same.
Look at this motherfucker.
It's such a good introduction cutscene too.
I guess we really haven't talked about like Calamity Ganon as a whole.
Yeah, because he's bad.
I wasn't gonna say bad. He's not my favorite incarnation. You know. When I think Ganondorf, I think like Twilight Princess, Ocarina, or if I'm thinking like Beast Ganon, I'm thinking like Link to the Past and a lot of the 2D like Pig Ganon motherfucker. My mind doesn't immediately go to red, black, gooey motherfucker from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, he's just not really also that involved in the story.
Right.
Like, he's the catalyst for everything, and people keep bitching about him. But, like, I don't know. It's also different because, like, for the first time in a while, there's no Ganondorf. There's no physical, like, human-like being. He's just a fucking travesty.
Right. That's how it was in the 2D games. We didn't get Ganondorf clock.
And I kind of appreciate having that back.
Like, let's just explain it this way. If you saw a picture of this dude, and all I did to the design was took away the red hair, would you know that this is Ganondorf? You'd be like, oh, a cool mid-boss, you know? Or cool, creepy mid-boss.
You'd have no idea. You'd have no idea that this is
Even
Ganon,
with the hair.
or controlled by Ganon.
Even with the hair, you still might think, oh, like Phantom Ganon, right? You know? Not
Yeah,
Calamity
still,
Ganon.
You still wouldn't think that this is inherently what Ganon is in this game, and that's fine. I still think Ganon's beast form at the end of the game that was the quickest I've ever phase one.
Phase 1's a lot easier though. 2 gets way more complicated.
Yeah, yeah. That being said, Beast Ganon at the end of the game does inhibit like Ganonisms.
And I like
he does feel a little bit more.
I like the Calamity Ganon we see in the cutscenes too. I like fucking Pig and that huge ass jaw and that like almost like pink color scheme to him. But unfortunately, we never fight that Ganon, right? It's always just like these stooges. Which fair, like you don't fight Ganon for every boss in an Ocarina or Twilight Princess, right? You always be fighting weird evil motherfuckers. I guess like
I think this is something that I see a lot of other people criticize too, and it's not only are the bosses like all fairly easy and repetitive in like how they're taken care of, but like in looks too. There's really nothing unique about Water Blight Ganon compared to say like Wind Blight, and that's kind of an issue. And I would have preferred like if there was some more creative ass bosses, but then to me like IMO, that's what the that's what the bosses in the overworld are for.
And they're really good. I like a lot of them. It just unfortunately means that like I'm not going to be putting like a Water Blight Ganon in the top 10 Zelda bosses.
Yeah.
Or any of the Ganons. The infight maybe, but not any of these motherfuckers.
And that's not saying that it's bad. I actually quite enjoy the Water Blight Ganon fight.
It's just because it has the bow. You like the bow.
I do. It's probably the most like bow heavy boss in this game. That being said, it's still a decent. Am I gonna get fucked over because I fell in the water? He got one more hit on. Link, get out the fucking water.
You could still do it. Yay!
There we go. All right.
Congrats.
Sweet. I was really worried about him, man.
You did well. Yeah.
I was really worried.
No, my
about
first
him.
encounter, like I blazed through the first phase and then took like an hour trying to figure out the Cryana shit. And then hitting them on time because I was running out of arrows and I wouldn't do enough damage with my regular gear. It was a pain. But no, you cleared through them pretty good. Look at us. We were like, this is gonna be an hour-long episode. Sit tight.
and this still not even the longest we've gone.
Yeah, we went 44 on the horse episode. Well, not for you guys because he edited that, but recorded.
Power of editing, but the power of recording was not so kind.
Look at you,
yeah, dude! First Divine Beast
and another heart. I'm glad they kept these because they could have easily just been like, no, just collect spirit orbs, right?
Yep.
But it makes the boss actually worth it to get like a free heart.
Makes it feel like a little bit more classic Zelda.
I think it would have been cooler if they gave you a free stamina upgrade too. But you know what? We don't all get what we wish for.
I think a choice would have been.
Yeah,
cool.
or a choice, right? I like hearts more, obviously, so I'm glad they went that way.
Yeah, I definitely value health over.
But still,
Over.
it's a nitpick. We're nitpicking. It's a nitpick episode.
This episode has been the nitpick episode. Every other episode's been super positive, but this has been the episode where I'm like, well, maybe this isn't as good, right?
I mean, we were pretty positive on the Divine Beast. I was just giving like ideas more than anything. The only thing we really trashed on was the boss.
Did the Divine Beast hold up? Honestly, yeah, that was still really fun to do. And maybe it's because I knew what I was doing, but like I had a great time doing that.
And we get to see Mifa. This is quite the reward, I think.
I agree. Man, I blazed through that Divine Beast way quicker than I expected.
So you're gonna say that
I
now,
was
and
thinking
we're gonna
we
hop
were-
into the second one and be like, "Well, I'm ready to blaze through this one too," and it's gonna be 2 hours. Jake gonna be cocky.
Mifa's grace.
Look at this queen.
I'm gonna take a celebratory sip of my milkshake now. My mom knocked on my door and gave it to me
Yeah.
earlier.
Not to worry, I talked through it. Lovely people at
There was a
home
washing of cool
had
I
commentary.
appreciate that.
I had nearly given up hope. and
Commentary that
I
was fitting the situation
Right.
too.
here as a spirit for the rest of eternity.
I don't want to interrupt the queen, you know.
All this time
Yeah, I know.
hope.
Because she's got, again, she's one of the only good voice actors in the game.
Promise me that you will not hesitate to call upon my power. if
Hope y'all are ready for us to talk over every Zelda cutscene out of necessity. Man, do I not like her voice at all.
I wish I knew what went wrong, but it's just boring to listen to.
We are both honored
Thank
to
you,
be
my
chosen
fish
for
queen.
the role of support. We'll annihilate Ganon together. Farewell.
Epic.
Save her, Link. Save the princess.
Link really looking with that resting bitch face. Yeah, okay, I guess.
You got no emotion.
Okay. I guess I'll annihilate Ganon. Maybe. If I feel like
I
it.
got you. That's kind of the attitude this game has.
Yeah, maybe. Might do a Divine Beast, or might fuck around in a Kala for a while. Who knows? Yay! Now the Zora who are already able to swim in water won't have to swim in more water. You did it! I mean, I guess the Hylians, but they can.
Who cares about them?
You would think that would be what Muzu wanted anyway.
Right?
Just be like, no, I actually like the Divine Beast. More drowning is epic. Probably thinks of it as a race purge or some shit.
That would have that would have improved the character a little bit more.
Yeah, if he was just genocidal. I agree. Uh-oh, he getting his uh-oh stinky spot.
Uh-oh.
Yes. So it's implied, right, that Mifa, the one piloting this motherfucker up here?
Yeah. Her soul has, just as Calamity Ganon had corrupted it, her soul has essentially rebirthed it to be a positive force now.
But then that also mean, at the same time, throughout the rest of the game, she's just holding that one button down for like 800 hours while we go do the rest of them.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
I like to think canonically, she's just like, well, Link, been pressing this button for a while now.
Yeah. That final cutscene, though, where they all be pressing the button at the same
That's
time.
epic.
That shit go
That's
hard.
epic.
If we seal him away, then we can restore peace to Hyrule. And
Hell
fulfill
yeah.
our duty.
Again, this game's kind of heavy. They just have the whole ass dead fish character right here.
Be a lot of dead people.
Father, are you where I want you?
And granted, Ocarina dark and Majora dark and Twilight Princess dark.
Guard my heart.
But like, I feel like this game handles it in a different way. Because it actually, like, I don't know. I feel like there's actually weight to the darkness in this game, as opposed to the other games where they kind of just like, yeah, bad stuff's happening.
Well, it's a lot more subtle too, I think. It's very much like more somber than sad necessarily. Where it's just like the game kind of has a depressing mood, but only if you go look for it type of shit.
Mm.
Whereas the other ones are very blatantly, this game's sad, this world fucked up, everything bad. Here it's like,
Hell yeah.
yeah, it's bad, but really only 100 years ago.
Mifa's grace, baby. Let's go talk to King Dorfin, but we're gonna skip his bad dialogue because no one.
Oh, absolutely, I'm not sitting through that.
I just want the weapon. Speaking of, I need to go ahead and just spear check this away. Throwing weapons underrated in this game. It's really
It's a lot more satisfying than him just like leaving them on the ground.
All right.
Muzu better kiss my feet. After all the shit I did for him. Oh, look, all the multicolored Zoras. Wow. The kid's looking a little ugly, though. They kind of got big head syndrome, unfortunately. Muzu.
Still
He's still like, you know, maybe I wish I drowned instead, you know. Yeah, Sidon gets his character arc too. God bless. We haven't talked about Sidon a lot, but I really do love him.
He's great. I really enjoy his character.
He's got that confidence about him. He's very happy-go-lucky. He's helpful. More memorable than a lot of the other motherfuckers too.
I enjoy what's his face, Teba, from the Ritos. But I enjoy his type of character, which is kind of the more solemn and solo character, because he's the motherfucker who is trying to take out the Divine Beast himself before you come along. He's the one who teaches you how to shoot arrows better and helps you. He's the one you fly on the back to help deactivate the flying Divine Beast. I enjoy his character.
Hey.
That being said, Sidon's still the best.
Like how they had this trident from Mifa, right? And you're like, wow, what a prized possession. And then you go about the rest of your day, like, killing bokoblins and moblins with it, and then it just breaks like every other weapon in the game, and you went, ooh, better not tell them about that one. It's unfortunate. You're gonna be pissed at me, guys. I broke their timeless artifact because I'm a fucking animal. Oh. But yeah, it was fun. I'm happy to have gotten through that. You did a great job playing through it.
Oh shit, I forgot about this. When you finish it, other travelers start showing.
Oh no, he was here before. We didn't show him
he?
on camera because we did this off camera, but he was there. Yeah.
I didn't see him. That's dope. Alright, there's one more thing I want to do this episode.
That's turn the game off. Watch this, guys.
This is what we're doing before we end off the episode. Since, you know, we promised a longer episode, we might as well give them.
Oh, you gonna go get a Lionel? A picture of one. Interesting. I've never done this.
So I'll meet you bad boys and bitches at the Lionel.
Yeah.
Alright, there he is. You all see him? Y'all see him right there? Y'all see him?
Take a picture right as he's coming at you. Like as close as you can get.
Yeah.
Wait. Gotta wait a little more. A little more. Now. There we go. That's winner. These guys are my favorite part of this whole damn game. I love this shit.
Zoink!
Fuck you, asshole. If you had taken fall damage from that and died, I would have laughed my ass off. Wah? Epic. Why do you need a picture of a Lionel anyway? Scare them away from the mountain. Yay! Now we got legs.
There we go. Now we have the full Zora armor set. So that's epic.
Not matching colors, but you know what?
No, this is disgusting.
You get the idea.
But
Cool.
we will eventually get the matching colors for this. But as for now, that is all for this time. If you guys enjoyed the first Divine Beast, go ahead and leave a like. Comment down below your favorite Divine Beast if you've beaten this game. I'm very interested to hear what you guys' favorite is. And in the next episode, we will begin our journey to the next Divine Beast.
Yep. Stay tuned.